Hey Jen, how's it going? I see a few people. Hmm. Matt, what are these? How are you? Emmanuel, what's going on? Glad you're good, Jen. How are you guys? Thanks for joining me. Yeah, I did. When I wear my mask, when I go out, it stops right about here. And I always like to make sure I'm brushing my beard before if I do a video. I hope you guys have something maybe to eat with me. And I'm going to bring my guest in a couple minutes. Just want to see how many people will come on. What's been going on this Sunday with you guys? It's like it's probably mid 40s. I'm by the lake, so it's been windy all day and kind of chilly. Oh God, I gotta brush it. I gotta scratch my back. Ugh, I have no way to scratch my back. Are you guys lagging? Did you hit the thumbs up button? Like what? What? Talk to me. Are you busy? Are you doing other things while you got me online that you can't chat? So my friend Mark is going to be on here. Mark, we met years ago on MySpace, and we've been friends ever since. We actually met one time. He came here to visit, and so we're gonna catch up a little bit. We've been catching up actually. Why y'all so quiet? Oh my God. Okay, let me. I don't like the way this tastes, so I'm gonna add a little. I think I'll see what that does for me. Like, something fell at the big of a deal. Okay, you guys, I'm gonna bring my friend in now. You all are being silent, so I'm gonna bring him in. Give me a minute, and okay. Get out of there and back in. Jethro, JG, what's up? Talk to me. How are you? I just invited my friend to join us, so that'll be happening shortly. Good to see you. Ooh. Chug Nasty, Isabel, Anthony E. What's going on, you guys? How are you? Thank you for popping through. I appreciate it. Hope you guys are having a really decent Sunday. It's a chilly one by me. Like yesterday was really nice, and then today, like really chilly, even though it's like mid to upper 40s. I think it's more like mid 40s today. But I could have used some gloves actually when I went out. I went out trying to find, went to the store to try to find something, and I couldn't. Okay, you guys, my friend is here. Hold on one second. I don't know what 23C calculates to. Mrs. Janita, what's going on, my love? Thank you so much. Let me invite my friend here. Selective site. Howdy.
Hi, how are you guys doing?
Wonderful, you guys. So what should I've been calling you. You've got something on. You need to turn that down.
Uh,
You have something on in the background?
no,
Okay, because when I was talking, I thought I'm hearing feedback.
Oh, I have my speaker on.
No.
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 One second, one second.
Okay. We can have a speaker, baby, because it's I'm trying to talk and
Let me see if I can connect it. Are you live on YouTube?
it's through StreamYard, but yeah, it's through YouTube too. It should be.
One second, hold on.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Mark.
I apologize.
It will be called a technical difficulty. I don't know what he's trying to do, but we'll try to figure it out. Okay, Jethro says might need headphones so you don't get feedback.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but when I was talking, I was hearing my voice.
Yeah.
And I don't want to hear my voice. I'm giving you my Wendy Williams. Wait, I can hear fine now. I'm hearing you and nothing else. Okay, so you're good? You good? Okay.
I think there's a slight delay, though.
There is a delay on my end because I don't have like I'm not.
Yeah, on my end. Just because on my end, yeah.
Okay. Were you trying to do something in particular, or? Yeah, I can tell there's a delay on your end.
I'm listening to you live on YouTube.
Oh, that's why. That's why. Can you do it can you try it without, and maybe because I think YouTube has a different such and such. Let's try it back on StreamYard.
Yeah, give me 1 second. Hold on.
Okay.
Apologize. Technical issues.
This is not the first time it has happened. I've actually we've had to do part 2 of a live. Oh, Isabel, it's 74, 73 where you are. That's wonderful. I wish that was us.
I can't hear anything you're saying. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second.
That's okay. Let me know when you can. I'm gonna keep talking. Jen says hello to you. T Love, what's up? How are you? T Love. 16 people. That's wonderful. Who else was up there? You can't hear me?
1 second. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Look, and are you wearing? Oh no,
Hello?
Maybe. Yeah. You're wearing ear things?
Sure, I'll be right there.
Oh, his food.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
His food is.
All right, thanks.
Is that your nuggets?
Sorry. Oh my gosh.
Is that your nuggets?
Okay. I turned my volume up so you can hear me.
I can hear you fine.
Okay.
Are your nuggets here?
They are.
Get your nuggets. I see you got fruit, but go ahead and get your nuggets or whatever you got to do.
Okay. Should I just exit and come back?
No, just get them.
Well, David's getting them. My partner's getting them.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to see how I can connect my wireless headphones to my computer because I've never done that before.
Okay. Why do you need wireless headphones? I don't. You don't need them.
No, okay,
Uh-uh.
all right.
As long as you can hear me, you're good.
I can hear you. I just don't want feedback. I'm sorry.
Okay. Right now, there's none. So not at least on my
Perfect.
end.
Okay.
Okay. Perfect. So, what do you have on your plate?
Okay. So I ordered chicken nuggets because chicken nuggets is like my family. They're my favorite thing. But Postmates is like, I guess everybody's ordering Postmates because it's busy. So they're like, and I was like, oh hell no, I don't have 45 minutes. So like I made a quick curry, which I'm not sure if you can see.
I can see. Yeah.
So
What is
there's
that?
like curry shrimp, and then I also made some like Korean pickles, Korean inspired pickles. It's like soy sauce, fish sauce, a little sugar, lime juice, and cucumbers. So like super quick, easy, easy, easy.
Okay. Okay. Getting a little bit fancy. What's up, Lala? Hello. We've got 16 people in the chat, just so you know. Um, that looks really good. I did buy nuggets, Mark, and was going to have them, but I decided that I would do the following. So I would do half of what you wanted me to do, and the other half not. So I got in the middle are my grapes. Around here are the mangoes. They're
Oh,
chopped,
cool.
and all around is Taco Bell.
I have some fruit too, but my little space is tiny. My little space is tiny, so I don't have space to show it. But after I finish eating on
Oh,
this,
yeah, that's totally fine. I understand about tiny spaces. Mine is too. Now, here's the thing. I do have is it tagine or tahine?
tahine. It's
I,
weird. That word in like Middle Eastern languages is tagine, right? And it's
ah,
spelled the same way, and it's a way of cooking. It's like a earthen pot, right?
mm-hmm.
In like Latin culture and Mexican culture, it's called tahine because J is always H.
Got you. And it has chili pepper, sea salt for those who don't know, uh, and some other stuff that is important, but really not important. I've never had it. It'll be well. I probably had it and didn't realize that I had it. Like it might have been in some ceviche, but I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I looked. I looked for that chamoy at Jewel Osco, where I thought, oh, okay, they're gonna have it because they got a lot of shit in Jewel Osco. Like you had trouble finding it. I looked down the Mexican food, the ethnic aisle, or whatever you want to call it. I looked down up and down twice and I could not find it. So do you think that's something that's going to be found at like your Mexican grocery stores?
yeah. Like back in the 80s, maybe you remember this. I'm not sure if you were like a junk food person back in the day. Uh,
Always, even today.
but back in the 80s, they had something called Chinese sour plums. Do you remember that?
Not particularly.
Okay. They used to sell like every convenience store. It came in like this little plastic pouch. It wasn't even like a package, it was a pouch, right?
Okay.
You cut into it and it had plum seeds in it.
Mm,
It was basically plum pulp with chamoy and with something that's kind of like that tahine.
hmm.
That Mexican candy that you tried and you're like, oh, this is
Yeah,
hot. it was
yeah. So the tahine was on that candy, those suckers and stuff.
it's the same flavor, except
Okay.
it's like that same type of spice where it's like sugary, salty, sweet.
I was really looking forward to when you described the chamoy to me. I was really hoping that they had it.
It's so
Um,
good. I love it.
I bet it is because you know what? I don't buy mangoes, but I tasted one of them before we went on. These mangoes are so freaking good. Oh
When
my
they're
god!
ripe, they're so delicious.
Okay, so wait. Um, Before we get started eating and stuff, let's put what we can up to the camera to get a thumbnail and a smile or whatever you want to do.
Uh,
Whatever
uh,
whatever you want, whatever's comfortable. Okay, hold on. Let's do that. Let's do that. Okay. All right. Perfect. 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 So, how are you?
I'm okay. I am hobbling around today. I hurt my uh, heel. So like I'm just hobbling, but other than that, I'm okay.
Okay. I'm gonna start now. I don't want to pour too much of this on here. I'm trying to be light with it.
Yeah,
So I need you to. Can you see? No, you can't even see because I'm looking at the screen and I can't see it go on. I don't want to be a
yeah,
punk, but I feel like the chamoy needed to be on here and then sprinkle this on.
yeah. That's exactly what it is. But I also feel like you should. I can't see your grapes. Are they cut in half?
No,
No.
oh,
Okay.
even the grapes need to be cut in half.
Only so that the wet part can touch it. When anything wet touches that chili powder, it makes it a little. It makes it dissolve a little bit, so it tastes a little better. But you can do it without it too.
That's what
You
you
can
was
just take a
talking.
bite of it and then try
Oh, okay. Oh,
it.
I wasn't thinking about that, but I mean, okay. So I'm gonna just do the best I can here. Um, in the meantime, Mark, why don't you eat some stuff? Give the people some eating something and let us know what you're eating and how it tastes while I cut open some of these bad boys.
Sure. So I'm eating my curry right now. It's basically you can go to any grocer and get like some cheap curry. This is green curry, and how you prepare it. It's one of my favorite things because I like spicy and sweet.
Me too. Well, no, no, I don't. No, I don't.
Yeah.
Salty and
Basically,
sweet is what I like.
yeah. Basically, what you do is you get some curry paste, and it comes in like little jars. If you have a nicer grocer, you can get like a really cheap, huge jar, and you put it in a pan. I like to use a nonstick pan, but you don't have to. And you just heat some oil up. You don't have to add any other seasonings really, unless you want to enhance certain flavors.
Hmm.
You just put some oil in it, then you just fry it. Fry like a tablespoon worth. If you like it spicy, a tablespoon and a half, and cover it with the lid because it'll start popping. After about 2 minutes, stir it again. Add whatever protein. I'm using shrimp. You can use chicken. You can use whatever. And then I also like green onions a lot, so I put regular onions and green onions, which you can't really see because they kind of wilted down a little bit. But
I just bought some green onions actually.
yeah, but that's it. And then after your protein is cooked, then you add 1 can of coconut milk.
Mm, okay.
So it's like spicy, and the coconut milk makes it sweet and kind of like a tropical type taste.
Nice. Okay, eat.
And
And then I have questions. There are questions here, or at least
oh,
one.
okay,
Okay.
perfect.
Listen to me. I'm all aggressive. I'm like, eat.
What
Mm, mm-hmm.
do you think?
You know, it's better on the fruit. I'm gonna try it on this mango too. Hold on, because this mango was so. Oh, hold up. I prefer this stuff on the fruit actually than in candy form. I like that balance.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's like hot plus sweet.
Yeah. And Mrs. Trinita asks, "Hey, Mark, have you seen that Valentina right here? Came out with the tahine like seasoning.
I
Soup.
did not. I did not know that. I really like tahine a lot, but one bottle, like you're gonna see that bottle's gonna last you 6 months, even if you use it every day. Like it lasts forever.
So let's get a couple of little things out the way. tell the people where you're from, or where you're at now, where you're from, and all of that. So people know.
Sure. So I was born in Texas, and I lived in Austin for many, many years after I graduated high school. I moved to Austin in '93 and hung out around there. And then in 2008, my partner David got a job offer out here in Denver. So we came to Denver. Excuse me. We came to Denver, and we liked it. We stayed for about a year and a half, and then we went back to Austin. And then he got another offer out here in Denver, so we came back, and we've been here since 2013.
Okay. I met you when you were, okay, I think we might have met maybe a little bit before 2005, but I know you definitely came here around that time because there's one picture that you and I took of your visit here, and I think we took it at the Village Theater or outside of the Village Theater on Clark and North Avenue. It's not there anymore.
Oh, wow.
It is one of my favorite pictures. I think we both look so cute in it. We both look so cute in it, and I'm not a big fan of my smile in pictures. And at that time, I really didn't know. I consider myself the first selfie queen because I didn't have nobody to take pictures of me in the first place. So I was doing selfies before they were popular. And I never liked my smile, but that's one picture, the first picture where I really liked my smile. So it's one of my favorites. Okay. And I think I don't know if we saw a movie, but I have another picture that I took of the marquee. Strangers with Candy, the movie, was one of the movies playing there. I don't know if you like
Yeah, we didn't watch a movie.
Well, we went to Smart Bar though, right?
We did go to Smart Bar. Mm-hmm.
Who was at Smart Bar that you wanted to, was it somebody we knew, some DJ?
It was a DJ that I like. I still kind of like his stuff. He's still kind of neat. Still doing a similar sound. Rainier Truby.
Was it Rainier Truby?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. I didn't think it was him. I thought it might have been somebody like a Derek Carter or something like that. Rainier Truby. Oh, that's crazy. Okay.
Yeah. And he does like jazzy type house stuff, which was like really popular then. Things that we bonded over was like we both really like that German English jazzy house type stuff with like really good beats and like really nice song structures.
Get yourself some hikama. Am I right on that pronunciation? Hikama, watermelon, and pineapple, and sprinkle that tahini on it. It's fire. Am I saying that right?
Sorry.
It's okay. I'm asking you, Mark. Am I saying that right?
Jicama.
Jicama. Thank you. Don't have me looking ignorant in front of the people. Hikama. Okay.
I mean, it could be that. It could be that in Spanish, but I think it's jicama.
I am loving this stuff on the fruit. It is so freaking good. Okay.
It's like this weird thing, right? Like it just makes you want to eat it more, even though it's like spicy.
But the fruit makes it refreshing too.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the best of both worlds. Dave D is yes, I get it now. Dave D, thank you so much. Jicama.
But to answer that question, I didn't know that Valentina had that out, but I'm going to look for it now because I want to try it. I like Valentina.
Okie dokie. So that people know, you and I bonded, like you were saying, over certain kinds of music. The music I remember us bonding over was a lot of the West London broken beat artists, Mark DeClive Lowe, For Hero, Bugs in the Attic, probably a host of other people. Sadly, For Hero hasn't released anything since I don't know when.
Yes, but both of those guys are doing solo records. They have like a lot of little solo records out.
Yeah, that part I'm glad about. but all the offshoots like Silhouette Brown and I'm sorry, you guys, if this stuff you don't, if you don't know any of these artists, this is the stuff we used to bond over. But like, I miss those offshoots, and I have a lot of those like CDs from those different labels. Those I can't even think of the label names right now, but I still have them, and I don't want to lose them because some of those are hard to find, especially digitally. They're really hard to find.
Yeah, like on the streaming services like Apple Music and Spotify, they have a really good collection up of like some of those really classic records. But like for like you said, some of the offshoots on the smaller labels and stuff, it's just gone. Like you can't get those anymore.
It's not bad.
Did you hear? Because I think you gave me that Mustang CD when I came to visit. Um, Alex Arias passed away recently.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I used to have some of his stuff on vinyl, and now I have it on digital form that I myself. But that is weird. Like he wasn't that much older than us, but it
I
happens.
didn't know that. And did you hear about Phil Asher? He died too.
Bill Asher died too. Yeah.
But I think I was something I was a little bit surprised to discover. I think he was in his 70s.
Oh wow, I had no idea.
I have to go back and check that out. I know there was something about finding out that he died that was shocking to me. I know he always kind of looked like he could have been like a bear type when we were, listening to him. I'd seen a picture of him and it was just like, oh, he looks like a kind of older guy, but he's, responsible for some really killer dance music.
Mm-hmm.
And when I think it was his age, I was just like, oh, okay. But so then, so it would have been MySpace that we met, right? That would have been the first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Which
Then at some
I
point,
don't remember
okay.
how we connected via MySpace. I don't know if it was like friend of a friend or what.
I wonder if one of these artists that we mentioned maybe had a page or something, and we bonded through there. That's so interesting because I can't remember how the fuck we met either.
Me either. And I want to say it was 2004 because we were chatting at least a year before I came to visit you. So it might
Yeah.
be 2004. And I met David shortly after that trip. It was when I met.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
We wound up. We've knocked out two of the topics here. Um, let's get into the teeth of the Hydra.
Oh, yeah.
I love the name, by the way. So explain to people what that is.
Sure. So I was working a couple of years ago. I was working at an insurance company, and I hated it. Hated it so much. And they were paying me really well. And I worked Saturdays. So every Saturday morning, and it was by the mountains. So I would take a hour and a half bus/train trip to work.
Mm.
And one day I was like, okay, so you're really unhappy. What are you going to do about it? Right? Because you want to make money, right? But also you don't want to be unhappy. And I told myself, you should start really taking music seriously and do something with your music. And so a friend of mine who I'd met has started a Bandcamp project, and I was like, I can do a Bandcamp project. It's free. All I have to do is make the art. You make the music, and then from there, you just do it. So I was kind of thinking about a project name, and I knew I kind of wanted to do a noise project. As you know, like I like minimalist music, not just minimal dance music and techno, but like minimalism just in general, where music is just kind of an atmosphere or like an emotion, not so much happening musically, but kind of where you kind of
It's
get pulled in by a sound and the sound shifts and changes, but not too much musically.
mm-hmm.
So one day on Saturday, I was walking and I had my iPhone on shuffle and it played T-Rex, Bang a Gong, Get It On. And
Mm-hmm.
the lyrics is the teeth of the Hydra. And so that's where I drew that name from. But that
Oh, wow.
wound up just being something that I worked on for about a year by myself. And then I asked my partner David if he wanted to help because I got offered to do a live show. And so he helped me be the live band, and then he started writing music for it, and it is what it is.
So when you would there were just a few occasions several years ago where you would send me clips, or this was all Teeth of the Hydra.
I think I was sending you like stuff with beats and things on it, maybe.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Okay. No, that's different.
Oh, okay,
That
okay.
is what I'm working on now. Since quarantine happened, right, and we're not able to do live shows, I was kind of thinking like, what is it that I want to do musically that I've always wanted to do, and I've always wanted to put dance music together, and I wanted to put a label together. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm in the early stages of putting a dance music label together for me and my friends to release music.
Shit, I should get on that bandwagon. I mean, the thing that I find kind of interesting with my own love of music is that I just never, there were times when I thought about being serious about it, but I never acted on it. Um, a couple of times in the past, I recorded a track with a guy that I met through the Chicago Reader. We got together and recorded one song that I had actually written for him to sing because I discovered he sounded like Robert Smith. But he, after hearing my recorded, on a Tone Master cassette, um, after he heard that, he said, "Well, you should do it." So he had, I think, a 16 track, and we recorded it on there. Um, I wish I had the tape. I don't think I have the tape in my possession. It was called World Upside Down, and if I think really hard, I can remember the lyrics. I
That's
really,
awesome.
I really enjoyed meeting people and working um, on music and stuff with them. I don't know how to play any instruments, but I can sing something to somebody and then make it work. But I never followed through. And I don't know if, so much has changed, about the music industry. So at first it used to be, you know, oh Lord, they don't have, it's only, you only have, you got to have a beautiful body. You can't be gay and you got to have a beautiful body. That's the only way you're going to, but now it's everything goes. It's like if you're not following this passion, then you're, short changing yourself, maybe.
Yeah, I also think it's kind of interesting too, though, about music. And I tell everyone like you need to have a hobby. Get a hobby. It doesn't matter what it is. Get a hobby. Um, but I think like for me, having music as a hobby, it is one of those things because it's music is math, and you're just doing calculations with music. And even when you're chopping up beats or chopping up sounds or sampling, it's just
Mhm.
keeping your mind fresh. And I think that that's what's really interesting about music production. But also, I'm kind of in the same boat. David has offered to teach me music theory, which I've rejected because I'm stubborn. But
Because wait, because what?
I'm stubborn. You
Yeah, that you
don't
are.
have to let that limit you with software and with like a sampler, and even like we have hardware too. Like we have synths and drum machines. You can still make music, especially dance music. Like dance music is really about getting a groove together.
There used to be games that I would play. Uh, One was called Chart Topper. I think it was created by someone in Canada. I love this game. All the Canadian friends that I have are mostly people that I met through that game. Um, and you would have this interface and you would create tracks. Now they consisted of the same like what 10 or 12 loops or instrumental, samples or whatever, but you created like full tracks, and then once you recreated them, you released them on the charts, so to speak. Sound Lab might have been one of them. or Beat Lab. I think Beat Lab was the other one. I really loved creating beats and things like that. But I don't know anything that maybe I'll have to investigate or maybe pick your brain at some other point about stuff like that. Because I really would like to do that again, but I don't even know where to look nowadays. What does Mrs. Janita say? MySpace, so crazy to hear that platform being mentioned. I know, so long ago. Okay, so let's talk about someone you mentioned that I don't really know much about, but you had mentioned T.S. Madison. I meant to
Yes.
do my homework on T.S. Madison and really didn't get a chance to, but why don't you talk about her again, like refresh for me, and then why you feel like she's really important to the culture right now?
I think like what's really important about T.S. Madison, and I really believe in like intersectionality, right? So there's like the LGBTQ queer community, there's the Black diaspora, and then there's like the mainstream, right? And
Mm-hmm.
what's about T.S. Madison is like she kind of fuses all those things together, where she is of trans experience. She's a trans person,
Mm-hmm.
so she always, whenever she does her live shows, if you guys don't follow her on YouTube, do yourself a favor and follow her. She's hilarious. And her show, which is on WeTV now, they're like, I think this is the 4th episode coming up on Thursday. Um, her show is really, really, it's staged, some of it, but her personality still shines through and the message still shines through. And her message is really about um, being true to yourself, being true to your experience. But one of the things that she always prefaces her conversations about is I'm Black and queer and trans and also a person. And she always phrases it in that way so that her story doesn't get whitewashed, so that her story doesn't get sugar coated. The reason why I think she's so important is because the way that she understands what's happening in our culture is through the lens of someone who is aware of like racism and also fighting against racism. Also, though, choosing her own path. When she started, she was a sex worker, right? She made movies. She was a porno actress, and she got like a really big reputation, right? But now that she's kind of moved into the mainstream, she's taken that site down, but she did it herself. Like she didn't go to a studio; she did everything herself. So she stayed independent, and she urges people to do things, to be independent, to do it yourself. Because when you get contracts or you get locked with big companies, they change
Well,
you.
yeah, what I'm hearing is it could be so easy for people to be molded by corporations or molded by companies, whereas, it takes a real sort of maverick to forge your own path, I guess, like she did. She could have been typecast or gone down a certain route, or people, because she was a sex worker, maybe wouldn't have taken her as seriously. So I'm glad for this education about her. I feel like I am not a real part of the community because I don't even know who she is, but I appreciate the information.
Yeah, she has a really good show that I think to kind of really get her personality. On World of Wonder on their YouTube channel, she has a show from a few years ago, but it's still archived, so you can view it, called Wait a Minute, Bitch.
Mm-hmm.
She just talks about stories from her life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's also one of those people who you can tell she kind of has a little bit of a short temper. So when people slight her, she claps back, and it's like hilarious and funny. And it's also good to hear stories because I'm sure you have stories. I have stories where we know people were like throwing shade and being shitty, and
I've been one of them.
and we had to handle it. And that's what that show is about. But like, just to kind of really quick go back on it, I think what's really important about her culturally right now and her having her move into the mainstream is that not only is doing sex work, was it a valid form of work for her? It helped give her money to do these other projects. Not only was her believing in herself, right, having confidence and building that confidence that she could do it, created a space for her to have a TV show on a major network. And her message of don't forget your identity, right? Don't forget where you come from is so important. And on her show, her mother's part of it. Her mother's like really religious. She's really religious. So they always talk about scripture a lot. But they also, you know, do day drinking, and they also have friends over, do weird stuff. Like, just it's hilarious. I think it's on WeTV on Thursdays, so definitely check her out if you don't know who she is.
Okay. I also, Mrs. Chanita says, I also really believe in how much intersectionality impacts our world and culture. It's such a fundamental building block of how to understand sometimes someone's individual experience. Yeah, I agree with that too. I want to go. Okay, let's go. No, this is perfect. This is perfect. So we're gonna. Well, I need you to eat some more. I want eating. I'm not gonna say anything, but I am gonna say this while you eat. Where are your nuggets? You're not gonna bring those out?
They're on the other side of the table. I'm gonna try to finish this. Though.
You guys, I did go to Taco Bell, and y'all. Well, no, I didn't go there. I had it delivered, but y'all know how much I love these things, right? These are my cinnamon balls. Oh, I haven't had them in such a long time. Fire.
They're so good.
Thank you, Mark. Oh my God. I just can't wait for the cream to explode in my mouth. Hold on. Oh. Yeah, I'm aware of what I said. I don't care. Okay. Tony Kukojo, I don't know how to pronounce that name. What do you work behind YouTube? I'm not sure I understand the question and who it's for. If you are asking me what kind of job do I have, I work in retail, but I don't ever talk about where I work. Oh, those cinnamon things are laced with crack. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. They are so good. I bought 12 of them, so I'm just kind of like gingerly eating this stuff.
I've eaten 12 of them by myself before.
Oh yeah. Oh please. Yeah. Easily.
Easy.
I used to be cute and get the 2-piece or 4-piece or whatever. So let's talk about this, Mark. Let's talk about why you're a pop star hater.
Okay, so music, right?
Your own words.
Okay, music. I am a hater. I'm just going to preface that right now. I honestly feel like people should not be as famous as they are for mediocre work. That's what I honestly feel, hands down. Okay, I'm going to say blasphemous stuff, but hear me out. For example, I did not understand Beyonce. I didn't understand why people loved her. I was like, are y'all listening to these records? Like, this is not great. It's really mediocre. I thought that for years since I first heard her in the 90s, right? Mediocre, not great, not special. I knew she was putting in the work. I knew that. But it was like a miss. Like, something was just not connecting for me. And then when she released Single Ladies, like, I was like, okay, I get this. I get why she's who she is. But then the rest of the album was just like, it's like hit and miss. But then when she released that self-titled Beyonce record, the one with the pink type, like, it completely clicked. Like, I get it. This is who she was trying to be. this is what she wanted to be. And the same with Lemonade. I kind of feel like Lemonade was like really top notch. Like she deserves to be where she's at because of those records. But I kind of feel like all the accolades prior, she's beautiful, she's can sing, but the music just it wasn't there. Also, like to move on, like I kind of feel like Taylor Swift. I hate to disrespect people, but like I don't get anyone who likes her. Like it's just over my head. It's just not interesting. Nothing
I
is
think,
interesting about
I
her.
wonder. I'm not a Taylor Swift fan. However, I heard that first folklore album or whatever that she put out. I listened to a couple songs, and I was like, "Ooh, okay, well written stuff." I don't know if she's doing all the writing or if she's co-writing or whatever, but I was like, "Okay, not bad." I only liked maybe one or two other Taylor Swift tunes, the ones that weren't so country sounding, that were pop hits. Well, she's had a lot of pop hits. Um, but as far as Beyonce goes, I have to say that I'm a huge Beyonce fan. But I have to say, for me, like I always clearly understood, it's from that very first video. If you watch the Destiny Child's very first video for No No No, at least that's the first one I know about, you can tell she stands out star wise. We're just talking in terms of visual star. We're not talking about, music content or anything like that. She stood out, and she was just one of those people that I said, you know what, you got to watch this one. Watch this chick, because she's gonna do something. I don't know what, but you're right. And I'm glad you said that she put in the work, because she did do that. But I also felt like she had to grow, and she had to grow her audience. I think with that self-titled album, the surprise release one, I think that's what that was. I really do feel that. Um, but I appreciate you saying that. Now we were talking about Lil Nas X, and I love that song and that video. And you were saying how he's like really stunty and gimmicky. Um, and you guys haven't seen it, he released a video for a song called Montero. I'm not a big Lil Nas X fan, but this song and this video is hot to death for me. So Mark and I had a little discussion about it, and just tell everybody, your thoughts and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So here's my issue with that song. Okay. Is it a catchy song? Yes. But guess
Mhm.
you can get like a million catchy songs. Big deal. What's
True.
that? What I have an issue with in pop music, and I guess in mainstream culture and in pop star culture, right, is why I'm a hater of pop stars. I mean, I'm a hater in general, but especially is do you remember that previous single that was really big, right? Oh, I'm going to be queer and I'm going to do a country song and I'm going to do blah, blah, blah. It's a gimmick.
Who's single?
Lil Nas X's single,
Yeah, that's the one I didn't like.
but it's a gimmick, right? It's kind of the same thing for me because, and like we talked about, right? There's another queer artist, queer black artist, Serpent with Feet, that released a new record as well. And it came out on Friday, and he's had some visuals and videos drop. And he's giving you like a black queer experience, R&B type music. No flash. He's not twerking on the devil. Which, if you haven't seen the Little Nas X video, that's what he's doing is twerking on the devil.
But
Great.
but he
But
also
like,
kills the devil. He also kills Satan, which I think is a way of saying so much of the reason why people are against who we are is because they associate Satan with who we are as, gay people, as basically we're human beings. So I think that was probably his way of saying, bump that. I'm gonna twerk. I'm gonna dance with the devil, but I'm gonna also take him out.
Here's my thing.
That's,
Here's my thing now, right?
mhm.
He is. There's talent there. I can't deny there's not talent. There's talent there. But I kind of feel like when your video outshines your song, it's a gimmick. And
The song is hot. I love the song.
I don't
I
feel
know
it.
you don't,
I don't feel it.
because I didn't feel old. Was it Old Town Road?
Yeah,
I don't know how that song was number one for as long as it was.
because
I
it's a
just
gimmick. Because it's a
well,
gimmick.
well,
Hoes love a gimmick.
I wonder if I wonder if now you're not saying that his coming out was gimmickry,
No.
but I guess when I think about his career, and like again, I don't really follow, like so I may not be the right person, but just from my what I know about him, I love the fact that he's black and he's doing this. Even the video, and maybe the song isn't like the best song in the world, but I love that he has made this statement. I love that he's and even your serpent with feet. I'm glad you exposed them to me because I didn't know anything about them. But I think there's room for both. Now they may not both be going in the same direction in the same, but I'm sure they would probably big up each other, just for whatever they're both individually doing. But I love the fact that here you got two gay. They are a couple. The serpent with feet, the two guys in it.
Mhm.
I love that. I think it needs to be seen. My friend Rodney and I used to always talk when we would talk about music. We would say, um, would it be better for an artist to come out and just have it out of the way that I'm gay for black artists in particular, or would it
Right.
be best? Would it be best to wait until you stack your coins and then do it? So I was like, I think people just need to come out. Like some of the people like Queen Latifah and Luther, people we've always thought, were gay and all of this, come out because there's gonna be so much more, force in numbers. And my friend was always like, no, they need to wait till they get their kingdoms and stuff like that, and then do it. But I like that this guy have one song and the song just takes off. I don't know how much money he's made off the song. And then is that, by the way, I suck dick. And I love that. I'm sorry. And if it's a little graphic for you guys in the audience, I'm so sorry, but that's just how I do things sometimes. Okay, Mrs. Janita is the only one chiming through in the chat. She says she's got two comments, Mark. Hold on. Isn't it that it factor? I felt the same way about Britney. She's an entertainer. I don't think Mark's gonna like that, but she's an entertainer. I don't think she's a great singer, but her shows are apparently off the chain. The way Mark feels about pop songs and gimmicks is how I feel about things that are trendy.
Exactly. That's exactly it. And I think like she hit the nail on the head. Like it's important when you consume music to just be aware of trends, right? Because we all know like fashion trends and like cultural trends.
Mm.
And like I'm going to jump into politics for a little bit, but not too deep. Kind of like the last 4 years with the previous president, a rise in racism. We saw a rise in xenophobia, right? That was a trend that was happening. But we knew that was not going to last. We knew that that's not where society's going, right? Society's always moving ahead and advancing and becoming even more open-minded. And so seeing this like trend of like people trying to like go backwards, right? We knew it was just a matter of time before that changed again. And so here we are slowly changing as a culture. I think it's kind of the same way with music and media and awareness. Just like look ahead, look at the bigger picture, right? These trends are going to come and go, but what are things that are classic, right? What are things that just stay? one of the things that I think you like her too is Sade. Classic. Those first three albums, stunning. No,
Hmm.
no showing your tits and ass off. None of that shit. Right? Just talent. And
Well, you can't mention Sade in this discussion because she's really in a class all by herself.
but the point is though, the point is that you don't have to rely on gimmicks. If your music is solid, that's all you need, right? You don't need gimmicks. You don't need flashy videos. Have you seen Sade's videos? Because I watched them a couple of months ago, and I was like, her videos are kind of dull. But
Here's the thing about Sade. The one video that I don't think Sade always works well on video, but the one video I can tolerate is the sweetest taboo because my brother, when like we would when that video would come on, my brother and I would watch it, and he would always look at her butt when she was on the horse. So I would be like, "Oh yeah, she does have a nice butt." But it was never a butt you could really see. And you, when you think about Sade, you just don't think that way. You just think
mm-hmm.
this woman is just from some galaxy that comes down and entertains us every 10 or 15 years and blows us away and then disappears and then she comes back again. I love Sade. I love Sade. Um, I got another Mrs. Janitha comment. So I saw I uh, I'm just going to say I think sometimes people also use trends to shield themselves from being considered non-inclusive. Like I like this song that this black queer guy sings, so I'm not racist or homophobic. Oh, um, and then it stops the conversation or the additional work. You know what? I should start doing this. And then it stops the conversation or the additional work that goes into understanding an artist or other people's lived experience. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think I just feel like you're right when you say there are certain music that you hear that's always going to be like it's withstood the test of time. You know, all of those. I think that's why for me, when I'm on Spotify, I do like to search out music that's different. And if I happen to find something, I'm like, yes, okay, this is what I needed. This is what I've been looking for. And we're going to get into just a few of the people, I guess, that we like. Because basically, you guys, Mark and I, we went from a place where we loved the same kind of artists. And then I feel like you would say this, Mark. We kind of splintered because you know, you're the minimalist, like dance type. We still like probably the same people, like Grace Jones or somebody like that. But I don't really get into the minimalist vibe that much. So, but there are some people that maybe we can both kind of, okay, let me check out your artist, and maybe you can check out one of mine, or you know, Sade is music. Everything nowadays is at least 50% video or publicity based. This is from Jekyll Gibbs. Take away the videos or press, and they wouldn't be able to stand on music alone.
like that's my whole point about being a hater is like just seeing beyond, what you're being fed, right?
Hmm.
And like not to be a hater, but to kind of go back to hating a little bit. That's why like I really didn't get Beyonce initially because I was like, okay, I know she's being groomed, and Beyonce is no different than Michael Jackson. Like she was going to be famous no matter what. Like
Hmm.
dad groomed her to be who she is. That's why she's like an entertainer. But at the same time, I kind of feel like you said she needed more time to just cook, and then after she had all the things together, that solo album that she put out is so powerful. Like it's just classic pop record.
This makes me want to ask you, keeping on the Beyonce, let's talk a little bit about her sister. I was never that heavily into Solange when she first came out, and it seemed like she was started out on more of a kind of dance music path. Um, but my God, when that one uh, the album that came out right before the last one, when you I don't know I can't remember the name of it, but that was when you first started to notice, okay, she is not trying to be like her sister. This is something really different. Those last two albums, like the last one is called When I Get Home, I think.
Until I get home, yeah.
Really good. What are your thoughts?
Exactly. Like, I liked those first early singles. I thought she was really good, and I kind of felt like she was bringing something different to the table, which I kind of feel like was missing in mainstream pop culture.
Mm,
Her records were a little more sensitive, still kind of innovative, like you said, still playing with dance music,
yeah.
pastiches, but still kind of doing something different, right?
Hmm.
And then I really feel like the last album just completely, and it didn't get good reviews. I mean, it got average reviews, but people,
Which one? The last one?
mhm,
Oh, every review I read was glowing.
really look on YouTube. You know how people do like reviews of the
Fuck
album?
YouTube.
No, but it's important because it's good that people who are um, have followings, right? People who are influencers. It's good to see what they see because that's mainstream, right? And people were like, it's too repetitious, but yeah, she's using that from dance music, right? Dance music is repetition. Um, it's too jazzy, but it wasn't really jazzy. It was just taking a nod, giving a nod to jazz. But it was really personal to me, and it was really empowering. Even the video that went with it, I thought was just as good as the music. Like the video added a dimension of who she thought her audience was, and
Mhm.
she wanted to, where she wanted to give creativity to, right? Like filming around Houston, filming in Louisiana, filming near her childhood home. That was empowering, but
Mhm.
it still is classic and it's interesting. And you can tell with like those songs that it's just not a whole bunch of producers. You can tell that she really helped craft those songs. Like those are great songs.
I think
And it kind of
something
feels like a mixtape too.
yeah. Something you said about influencers, though, I don't know that I agree with. I feel like if you're listening to influencers alone, then you're not really making up your own mind about something. You're kind of depending on the influencer to make your mind up for you in a way. And that part, I feel like music is a personal experience. Um, you really I feel like you could really understand that when albums were out. You could really have that experience when we used to listen to vinyl. And when people recorded albums, when artists recorded albums where there was a side A and a side B, there was a whole kind of mood thing that happened. You know what I mean? Like you have your peak here, or maybe your peak was at the end of the album. It's a whole personal experience, and sometimes influencers don't have the frame of reference that I don't know an actual music critic would have. Not everyone. I won't broad stroke. I won't do that. But
You
I feel
should. You should do it.
well, I don't know, because my when I think of influencer, I think about somebody really young. I think about somebody young that doesn't have the frame of reference and they've been, coined or given the stamp of approval by whatever site they're working with as an influencer on the site. So if you say that you think an album is crap, but you've got people like, Village Voice or The Guardian, um, other, people, other entities, publications that are applauding the work, fine. You may not even like Solange. You may not even, wind up listening to the album. But I don't know that I would listen to an influencer, unless that influencer was someone that I thought really had a handle on all different types of music. Like if that influencer is disliking the Solange album, but liking like a BTS album, I'm sorry, no, no.
um, I I also want to say something kind of controversial, but I feel like it needs to be said.
Okay.
And that is like, I honestly, though, even now, right, with like all the awareness we have about Black culture contributing to mainstream culture, right? Black culture always putting in the work, and then mainstream culture coming in and plucking it and saying, this is ours now, right? A
Yeah.
good example is house music. A good example is techno. A good example is hip hop, right? All these like
Mhm.
the music
Jazz.
culture, right? And yet now, like it's different, right? But I still feel like Black artists, a lot of Black artists, don't get their fair share of praise that they should. And I kind of feel like those Beyonce records are like that. Like that Beyonce record lost to Taylor Swift, the one with the pink Beyonce label,
Oh,
lost to
okay.
Taylor Swift. Do you remember that Taylor Swift album? No.
But Taylor Swift fans probably do.
But the point I'm trying to say though is that Beyonce record in 30 years' time, even from now, right? In 30 years' time, that album's still going to be iconic. It's still going to be groundbreaking.
Hmm.
But I feel like that Solange record is kind of the same way. And I kind of feel like just in general, like Black artists don't get the praise that maybe like people don't see De La Soul's records the same way they see the Rolling Stones records. Even
Oh,
the De La Soul records are amazing, but
oh,
don't give them the same respect, you know?
yeah. I'm
I'm
so,
just
oh my God. You mentioned De La Soul, and I just want to cry because uh, I um, I hate what they've been going through with Tommy Boy Records. Um,
yeah.
this is why you can't find their work digitally. Um, that those earlier albums, oh, such classics. Ah, okay, let's move on. Let's move on. Mrs. Chinita says salsa, salsa music, salsa artist. No,
It's not for me.
it's not for you. Okay,
It's not for me.
let's move on to reading Moby. Let's talk about Richard Melville Hall, who, if you're a fan, may recognize as Moby, the musician Moby, the vegan Moby, who recently tweeted. As I'm reading his tweet right now. He says, "I'm genuinely curious. Can anyone name a viral pandemic that doesn't have a zoonotic etiology?" Now, first of all, he made my dumb ass have to go and find out what the fuck zoonotic was and what the fuck etiology was. I'd heard of etiology, but zoonotic is basically it's when an animal passes on a disease to a human through some kind of a pathogen. And etiology really is just origin. So one of the responses he got that then this is from what you sent me, Mark. One of the responses he got that I loved was, "I'm genuinely curious. Do you actually think that going vegan will severely reduce or eliminate viral pandemics?" And my takeaway from that, and I went and some experts were kind of calling him out for this statement too. To me, it just felt like a dig at people who are not vegan. And I feel like that was kind of like the undercut. Like I love that you're vegan. I love anyone that is, vegan and proud to be vegan. But I think you can make a point or ask a question if it's a genuine question you're asking without ostracizing other groups of people. Your thoughts, Mark?
I mean, that's exactly it. And I think there's also other implications as well. To kind of go back to what I forget what her name was. She made the comment about intersectionality, right?
Mrs. Janita.
Janitha. To kind of go back on what she said, I think it's important to like understand that because it's so easy to say, "Oh, you're not vegan," right? But also, you are not understanding how eating a very specific diet requires that you have access to resources, aka money, to eat a certain way. And for you
Mhm.
to like even like say, oh, all bad diseases are because you eat meat, it completely misses the point that money affords you lifestyles that not having that money doesn't give you, right? Um, People who are like, oh, you should only eat organic food, but first off,
Mhm.
that means that you have to have access to a grocery store that sells organic food, be able to pay the higher price of organic food, and culturally, like there's many different things that you're just overlooking, right? You're overlooking socioeconomic um, class, and that's a real thing. Like I kind of feel like sometimes pop stars are ridiculous, especially people like Moby, where you come from the underground culture. Underground kids, when you started, who were your fans? Those are poor people, working class people, right? Not necessarily all rich kids. So like,
Right.
not to be out of touch with who your initial fans were. Now that you're a millionaire and you have money and fame, to miss the whole point about how you judging someone saying, oh, because all you guys eat meat, you're responsible for this. You've always been responsible for pandemics, is completely like missing the point. And I also think as well, even when you're vegan, you still have to kind of consume protein, whether it's from beans or protein powder or something, right? Because your body needs that.
Hmm.
I just think it's highly irresponsible to like make claims about science when he's not a scientist. He may be very,
Yeah.
but you're
And
not a
this,
scientist.
yeah, and this was something that I wrote down that was called from something that one of these professors, said basically, and this was a quote: "Diseases like malaria, which is considered an epidemic, are transferred through mosquito bites, and cholera is waterborne and is often transmitted via contaminated food and water due to bacteria, which has been found in shellfish and plankton." So thereby kind of just obliterating his whole, notion or point or a question or whatever. It's okay for him to have a question about it, but the undertone clearly to me was, you fucking meat eaters, y'all have created this disease. I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it the way I hear it, and I hear it that way.
And
You
that was
fucking
it. Like that really
yeah.
was how I interpreted that.
Yeah, and it's just like, okay, well, you know what? Take a chill pill, baby. I know you ain't had a hit in a minute, but really take a chill pill and let's, ask the question without broad stroking and without like, ostracizing people, even like indirectly doing it, because that's worse. Because you think a bitch is not smart enough to understand what you're really trying to say.
Exactly.
Let me read Mrs. Trinita. She says, I meant that a lot of salsa, the sounds and beats have a lot of foundational Afro-Cuban, Afro-Latino patterns and tones, but aren't credited for that influence and work. Okay, now that I would agree with.
And I agree
Um,
with that too. Absolutely.
people have tunnel vision when it comes to health and wellness. It's like people are afraid of accepting something that doesn't work for them or that opposes their lifestyle, as if not vehemently resisting other ways of life somehow takes away from your own choices. Yep. You will come to love Mrs. Chanika. Um, Now, I don't have anything else to talk about. I don't know if you do. Have we tackled everything? It's because I know we were chatting back and forth, and then there was some stuff I was like, well, save it for the show. Save it for the show. Let's not talk about it now. But I don't think I
There's a
have
couple of things
anything.
that I wanted to ask you because I know
Oh
I always watch your show. I work from home right now, but I take phone calls, so I can't like always watch because I have to talk to someone or do something.
yeah.
But one of the things I wanted to ask you, because I haven't really asked you about it, since you started your channel, what are snacks that you go to, right? Because you do like snacks and food and things that you like, but what are snacks that you really like? What are things that you are really into right now? Like for me, I like gummy candy. Gummy candy is my favorite.
Mm. I am not a big fan of gummy candy. Um, I know we're in so many ways we're alike, and then yet in so many other ways we're so different. I One of my new go-to snacks, and I have to stop it because they're really addictive. I never bought them before until like last week. So the Frito corn chips have this thing called scoops
Mm-hmm.
where you can scoop. Those things are addictive. Oh my God. So I was watching Hey Lunel. She has Lunel, the comedian, she has a YouTube show. And I was watching her, and before the show, I think it was actually during the show, she was eating some of these scoops with some chicken salad or tuna or something. And I was like, oh man, I always want her to do, she is aware of what ASMR is, but I've always want to ask her. I think I even commented like, you should do an ASMR video. I saw that and then ate these things. And I was like, those are so good. Um, Otherwise, I really now am trying to get into more like cracker, Melba toast type things where I can dip. Pineapple cream cheese and Doritos are something that I should not have regularly, but it is my favorite thing in life. And people who watch my channel, they know that. Um, Dipping Doritos in pineapple cream cheese is something everyone must try. Everybody must try. Other than that, I would sooner get a chip more than I would anything chocolatey or sweet. I like sweet stuff, but I would quicker to get a chip. So that's it for me as far as like go to snacks. How many people are there? 10 people. Where are the other people in the chat? Are you guys just like are y'all asleep or y'all doing some other shit? Like what's going on? Would you ever consider doing a mukbang, Mark, or anything ASMR? I think you could.
I haven't really thought about it. I will be very honest with you though. So whenever I didn't know that you had your channel until you mentioned it to me after I posted. I forget her channel name. Her name is like Spirit, but I forget what her channel name is.
Mm.
She was the lady who was eating the pickles. She always does that at least once a month. She eats pickles.
Juicy Tingles?
No, I forget what her name is.
Hmm.
It's like a video every day. Anyway,
Okay.
short. I posted a video on Facebook, and then you commented, "Oh, you like ASMR?" And I was like, "Yes." But like her, but I wasn't too aware that the whole scene. And then you sent me your link to your channel, and I was like, "Oh." And that's when I became aware of like mukbang videos and things like that.
Oh.
Because of you, I started following like a lot of mukbang videos, and then there was like ASMR mukbang videos. And
Yeah.
one of the ladies I follow, I think her name is Ajan. She's like a Korean lady,
Mm.
and she always has like this huge plate of food, and she's like this really tiny person, and she eats like 3 or 4 steaks or like 2 packs of ramen noodles and a whole plate of seafood. Like I don't understand how she does it because like I can't do it, but it's really interesting. I get bored really easily when I eat stuff like a lot of food, so I'm always like I need like little bits. That's one of the reasons
Yeah.
Korean food is like Korean food. Yes, they give you a lot of food, but it's like here's one spicy dish, here's a sweet dish, here's a savory dish, here's meat, here's sweet meat, here's this. So like
I'm loving your nails, by the way. I meant to say that earlier.
oh, thank you.
Um, I remember when we had dim sum. I had it for the first time.
I love dim sum so much.
That's the only time I've ever had it.
You
Was
should.
with you.
I
That's
think you
it.
might like it, especially since you tried sushi recently.
Yeah, maybe I would like it and appreciate it more now. Okay, wait a minute. We got Mark. So Mr. Nita want to know what's your favorite gummy candy?
There's a lot, but my favorite one is the Jolly Rancher gummies. They look like Twizzlers, kind of, but they're chopped up into little bite-sized pieces. So the outside is like has like a sweet and sour type sugar on the outside, and then on the inside it kind of has like a um, gooey center. You can get them at any grocery store. It's like $3.
A gooey center.
So good.
We all love a gooey center.
Those
Okay. Um, oh, she loves those apparently. You know,
are good.
I wish I were a those kinds of candies and things. It's like every once in a while, or like if I'm gonna do, like I bought some lollipops recently because I'm gonna upload some more content in the Rainbow Room. I like those, but I have been chewing a lot of gum lately, although not on camera. I've been chewing it like at night when I'm like going to sleep or getting ready to watch a video. Sometimes I'll chew some gum. It's I guess a way. Oh, that hold on. That tahine is hitting a bit at the back of the throat.
Yeah.
I am drinking zero sugar Mountain Dew, by the way.
Oh, uh-huh.
I didn't even know. And this was it was a mango drink from Taco Bell, but I had to infuse the Mountain Dew in there to give it some flavor. But yeah, I've got the blow pops, the Charms blow pops. Like I love those when you start like getting to the point where you can crunch the shell and you start chewing that gum. I do like that, except the flavor dies almost immediately.
It does. You know, I have a story about that. When I was a kid, this doesn't make any sense to me. My mom would give me and my sister $1, right? And every day go and buy a soda, which was like 50 cents. And
Mm-hmm.
this is during the summers. And then we buy a candy each, 25 cents. And like I remember you could get Jolly Ranchers loose, like 10 for 25 cents.
Yeah.
And so in the summers, we'd always get Jolly Ranchers because we could get the most candy and have it throughout the day, the afternoon. But yeah, I remember that. And that's weird to think now, like 25 cents doesn't give you anything. Not even
I know, right? We used to go to this place. What was it called? It was Miss Mabel's or something like that. This woman, she sold like those little cherry gum things, the cherry balls, and strawberry cookies, big pickles with the peppermint stick in the middle. She would have all these things in these containers, and when you walked into the shop, it was kind of like stuffy, and you could smell like a mixture of sweet and those pickles. It was a weird smell, but it was like you knew you were in Miss Mabel's. And she sold Big Blows. Remember Big Blows? Do you remember that
mm-hmm.
gum? And like Double Bubbles, I think they were. She sold those type of things. Y'all ever dipped the blow pop in your Kool-Aid? I've never done that. I've never done.
Yes, I did that.
Okay, do you dip it while, like, right when you unwrap it?
No, you get it wet, you suck on it a little bit, and then you dip it. But what my cousins and I, because we were bad kids, we would always put the Kool-Aid in a little plastic baggie with salt. So it would be Kool-Aid, salt, and your blow pop, and it would anything that was wet would turn a color. So I'd have like purple lips or like green lips,
Okay.
red lips, because
Okay.
it's Kool-Aid. But yeah,
I cannot get into the, I appreciate trying those suckers, but I don't think, yeah, it was really, it was different. I was expecting, because you look at them and you think, ooh, like cherry, or this is going to be really, really good. And then when you taste it, that salt hits your mouth and it's like, what is this? Then it gets sweet and it's like, oh, okay. But yeah, I can't. And you all grew up with that stuff. Like I wish I'd had that growing up, and it maybe wouldn't have been so bad for me. So many great sugary memories. I used to the fun dip, the stick with the little powder. That used to be, and the sweet tarts. Oh, but you know what I found out I do like that's kind of chewy or gummy? Chewy lemon heads.
I haven't seen those.
Maybe that's a newfangled one, but they're not bad. I had one box of them. Chewy lemon heads, really good.
The reason why I was asking about your sweets and things that you like snacks is because I was going to ask you if you've tried Beard Papa. They just opened a store here. I
What
think
was the name of the store?
in Chicago. It's called Beard Papa.
Oh,
Um, they are cream puffs, right? So like those fresh, flaky crust with like pudding in the middle, and they're so good. They're expensive. It's like $4 a pop, but
oh wow.
delicious. Like it is incredible.
Are
Uh,
they better than my cinnamon balls?
Different. I think
Okay.
they're better personally,
Okay.
but I also like pudding and I like pastries.
I
Uh,
frown up at flaky. When things are flaky, I don't like that.
it's not. It's flaky, but it's not like croissant
It's
flaky.
it's not okay. It's not croissant flaky. That's
Yeah,
good. Because croissants are like I want to like them, but they get everywhere.
they literally do. Have you ever
Yeah.
had those? If you go to like a bakery, and they're like, "Oh, we have like a croissant ham and cheese sandwich," and like they toast it, right? As soon as you take a bite of it, the whole thing kind of shreds apart, like, and it's all over your shirt.
Just was it yesterday? Probably just yesterday. 2 days ago, I bought a chicken salad croissant sandwich, and I didn't eat it Friday, so I had it for lunch yesterday. And I bit into this thing, just gobs of the chicken salad just falling all over the place. And the croissant isn't like I like stiffness. Like I need it to be stiff. I need it to be kind of like not to where it's hard and stale, but I don't want it too soft either. I like my bread to be like, you know, just um I don't Rabah, I hope that you're saying hello. I hope that bonsoir is bonjour. I don't know, but maybe Mark knows what you're saying to me there. Bonsoir atous, atous. Well, I'm just gonna say hello to you and thank you for coming. Um, you know, this is something that I started thinking about this, and I don't know why I want to mention it now, other than to see if maybe you have any similar stories from being a young man or, in your early 20s. I started thinking about how we met and just the past in general. And I remember doing some things in my early 20s that I wasn't so proud of. Um, Well, first off, let me start with my late teens. I was working at Walgreens. I was probably a sophomore or junior in high school. And um, I remember wearing a hairstyle where the top part was curly. And it started out as a fade, but I would get curls put in the top, and the sides and the back would be just trimmed really short. So I would I would work at Walgreens and I would steal, um, what was it called? Proline. It was some kind of a perm, like curl kit. And one night, I remember stealing a box of pancake mix, one of these Proline curl kits, and it was such a random. They both were such random things. I did not get caught. They were kind of lax with the bag checking at night. Um, but years later, working another job. Now, do you remember Coconuts Records?
Hmm.
Okay, so in the mall, in the Century Mall where I used to work, there was an offshoot or a brand of generic, bootleg store called Transworld, which was basically Coconuts. I worked there for a while, and when this is when they used to have cassette tapes. Everybody was rocking CDs at this point. I was still on cassette tapes. When they had those holders, those black holders in the cassettes were in. So one night, me and this girl, her name was Kat. I think she was an assistant manager, maybe, or just higher up. She's checking my bag, and she sees the cassettes in my bag. And I'm sitting there embarrassed. I'm like, oh God, I can't believe she's checking bags tonight. And I wondered if she knew, like if she got a feeling that I stole these things. And then she kind of laughed. She's this chick, she had red hair, kind of like punk, gothic or whatever. And she was like, and she shook her head and she started laughing. I said, Kat, I am so sorry. I'm so embarrassed right now. And she was like, you better be glad that so and so, the actual manager, was not closing tonight because you would be in big trouble. I think she let me get away with it, but I totally regret doing that. So, anybody watching, if you're young and you happen to watch this, please don't do that because when you get caught, it is not the best feeling. Now, having said that, I'll tell another story involving that same store. I had done this at least twice at the store, but this time I took the cassettes out of the holders and I stuffed them in my sock and put my pant leg over the sock. So my cousin Denise used to work upstairs at Mrs. Field Cookies. I would go up there and visit her and say, hey, are we going home together? She's like, yeah. When we got on the bus on the way home, I said, Denise, look at this. And I raised my pant leg up and I had about 3 or 4 cassettes in my neck. Telling this now, I can't believe I'm telling it, but she yelled, she screamed and hollered and laughed on the bus. But I don't do that, y'all. Don't do that. It was really embarrassing. And I don't know what music it was that I can't even remember who was so important that I had to steal it. But yeah, so I just wanted to share that with you all. Mark, you got any stories like that? Or were you a good kid? Were you a good person?
I was a good kid, but
Oh,
I will tell you my stance about stuff like that. And this is not
uh-oh.
PC or anything, but it is what it is, okay? And that is like, again, it goes back to money, right? Some people just don't have money to splurge on these things, which is why I think we're in a really interesting like intersection in culture right now, right? If you have a
Mhm.
computer, there is nothing that can stop you other than ethics from downloading music software, from downloading a record, from downloading a movie, from whatever. And here's the thing, right? The thing is that as we move into the future, right, information should be given away free. That's what I really believe. And if some kid in some podunk town or in a big city or wherever is downloading music software, is using it to be creative, is coming up with new art,
Mm,
or even just downloading music to have a good experience,
mm,
say you're a bad person. Like at the end of the day, we all would be in different places if we had resources. I think what technology has done, and this is my stance, what technology has done is even the playing field. And even though the playing field still isn't even, right? There are people who don't have computers, right? There are people like my mom who don't have the internet or don't own a computer. Um, but for those of us that do, right,
mm.
we have the world at our fingertips. We have all the world's knowledge available on your cell phone. Um, and that's my whole thing about it. Like we're so anti-piracy, but what we really are is anti-poor people, anti-education. Anyone who tries to sell you that stuff is just trying to be a gatekeeper for these big corporations. I get it. You know, you have to make money too, but those people who can afford it are going to pay for it. The people who can't will just try to find a way around it to still have access to those resources and tools to be creative and to create and to enjoy and to have a decent life.
Well, that I mean, that really does. That wasn't. I get your point. I do. I was trying to put myself and what I did into all of that, and I can't say that I was thinking about any of that at the time. This would have been like 93, 94 when the movie Romeo, was it Romeo Must Die? Might have been out at that time.
No, I think Romeo Must Die was like 96,
Okay,
96.
then not Romeo Must Die. There was something,
Romeo and Juliet.
and I think Garbage had a song on the soundtrack.
Yes.
So Romeo and Juliet, okay, and Woodstock '94. I think that those are things that I can remember, and grunge and stuff was kind of happening at that point. Um, and I was just like, I wish I could think back to, was it just because I didn't have anything, I didn't have much money. I would have been working part time at the company I work for now. I would have been probably part time there at the time. But I just remember there were times when I was desperate. And when you're desperate, you do desperate things and you don't always think them through. I feel like everyone has done something like that. Whether they would admit it is another story. But I'm glad that I'm at a place because there was a time I would not tell that story. I was afraid of what people would think, but when you turn 50, it's just like, what the hell? Who's coming after me? I
Yeah.
feel, Mrs. Chanita says, I feel like you would like a banh mi if you like substantial bread with your sandwich chews. I've never had one of those.
They're good. They're really good.
Okay. Well, Mark, I think this might be it. We've probably gone over. We've gone over. My goodness. Okay. Well, so look, where can people reach? I know your celestial clockwork here on YouTube, but as far as Teeth of the Hydra, if they want to check some of that, visuals and the music out, just on YouTube, or is there anywhere else?
Yeah, if you look on YouTube, there's a channel that I have where I post videos. And we haven't posted in a while because we're still kind of in the production phase of doing something different. But you can see some of our old shows and music videos that we made. Uh,
Okay.
Teeth of the Hydra, not to be confused with Teeth of the Hydra, which I didn't know was a metal band, but the Teeth of the Hydra. You can look us up on YouTube and you'll find us. You can follow me under the same name, Selective Site, on Instagram. I
Okay.
post random stuff. And yeah,
Yeah, Mrs. Chanita, I thank you for piping through and understanding. That's what we need. That's what I'm looking for. It's like questions from you guys too. So thank you for being on here for as long as you could be and coming up with some good stuff, the good questions and feedback and stuff. Thank you. Mark, love you, my friend. Thank you so much.
love you too.
All right, take care, you guys. Have a good one. Teeth, Mrs. Janita, that would be Teeth, not teat. Bye, you guys.
Bye bye.
See you, Mark.